Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Grand Page. I am your most humble and obedient servant, Page Ghost, and I would like to speak with you today about the vicious attacks being committed against the video game Gotham Knights. While this video game has its fair share of issues, a most egregious attack being committed against it is its comparison to the Arkham video game series. It is not a fair comparison. It is not an accurate comparison. The Arkham series of video games are Batman video games. Gotham Knights is not a Batman game, although it is a DC game. It's also not a fair comparison because of who made these video games. Rocksteady, when it made Arkham Knight, was an established video game company and had shown its ability to make Batman video games. This is Warner Brothers Montreal's biggest project that they've done, and they didn't have assets from previous video games to build on like they had with Arkham Origins. This was their own idea. This was their own venture, and it has been, minus a few setbacks, a huge success. Yes, a huge drawback is the fact that we only get at 30 frames per second on console, especially on consoles that we've gotten used to receiving the option of 60 frames per second. And there's obvious performance issues. This game is not well polished, much like their Arkham Origins game when it came out. However, that does not diminish the absolute gem that this video game is. This game has its own identity. They stuck to their guns and they said, we are not going to pull a sudden bait and switch and put Batman in the video game. They didn't do that. It's a Nightwing video game. It's a Robin video game. It's a Red Hood video game. It is a Batgirl video game. And it sits in that uniqueness with confidence. A great way that they do this is how the open world is built. A common criticism of the open world is that it feels huge and empty. Now, though it does seem huge and empty, what do you think is supposed to be put in that huge and empty world? My argument is that it is meant to be filled with crimes, more specifically, procedurally generated crimes. At any moment in the game, the world can be filled in any place with a crime, and it is built, the world is built to accommodate for those randomly generated crimes. It is meant to pop up with activities for you to go and explore. And you never know what kind of crime is happening. It could be a simple break-in. It can be a simple struggle with police to be arrested. It can be something as grand as hostages being strapped to bombs. It's While there are a series of certain crimes being committed, there are specific crimes that can be committed. You never know which crime it's going to be, and it's always a delightful surprise when you come up on a new crime. The bottom line is that this game has been repeatedly compared to the Batman Arkham games, and it has been unjustly compared to those games. It is not those games, it never claimed to be those games, and it rests confidently in its own identity.